on time anyway. That's fine. All right, let me see if it's working. Oh, there you go. It is working. What's up, everybody? So I got a whole lot of questions to ask this man. So bear with me until he comes. No biggie. In the meantime, maybe I'll talk about what we're going to talk about. So stuff I'm going to ask him. All right, so we're going to talk about how he got involved in arm wrestling. We're going to talk about training, of course. Supplements, of course. Stuff about Arizona arm wrestling. Probably like his opinion and stuff like that. Matches. Maybe something that he was a part of that he really liked, or maybe some matches that he wants to do. Injuries. Rankings, future plans, any call-outs, stuff like that. So the man's having some technical difficulties. It's all right. So did you guys see? There's like probably 0 people watching. Did you guys see the updated rankings though? So let's go to that. Share my screen. So share screen. All right. So this is the updated Arizona Arm Wrestling League. What's up, John? Welcome to the show, buddy. So John updated the Arizona Arm Wrestling rankings. So we got, look how nice this looks. So we got 0 to 165, 166 to 185, 186 to 205, 206 to 232. And we got supers. So basically like the standard tournament rankings, weights. Of course, we have the legendary Ovi on top here. And hopefully he gets a match with Joseph the Beast, the Giant Killer Marento soon, because I am dying to see if Joseph is that good or do I just suck. On the bottom is people who are out of the top 5. I'm pretty excited to see Brett here from Tucson, because I've never seen that man in my life, and he's supposed to be pretty good. Got Aaron and Kirby. I didn't know Kirby was that fat. I think it was up to 165, but all right. And here where it gets juicy in the 205s, because there's a bunch of people in 205 right here. Here's yours truly out of the top 5 because they suck. We have Leo here, Tony, Miguel, and good luck to anybody trying to get on this top 5 on 205, because even if you beat Leo, the next one is like Leo can't beat Tony at all. And then I don't know where Tony and Miguel land. And then Ron is just a beast. And then Tim, of course, is a beast, especially in the hook. And we have 206 to 232. Got Eric, Wayne, Scott, Tito, and Lewis. Hold on a second. Wayne wants to know something. Yeah, John, Wayne is having that same problem where it's like unsupported. What about laptop? Yeah, so Lewis, tough guy to beat. Tito, even tougher. Scott, Wayne, and Wayne. The difference between Scott and Wayne is just monumental here. And then Wayne has beat Eric Wolf in the past a few times in tournaments. I don't know if Eric has ever kind of convincingly beat Wayne, but that'll be a good one to watch in the future. Then we got Alex, Jesse, Dan Ames. Dan Ames is really, really good. He should actually be in the 205 if John is listening. Nathan, really good. Hopefully he takes his trading a little bit seriously because that guy is a beast. And then Greg, Mr. Cornhole Man himself. And supers, man, this is an interesting supers because we have Chemo here, who only once in a while shows up in tournaments and just smashes people. We have Tyler. I haven't felt Tyler in a long time. Sid is just an absolute tank of a man. Julius as well. And then Dustin, the electric man himself. Haven't pulled with him. Well, actually, I did with Coach Ray and Giannis at John's house. He's pretty good. But I mean, when you're focusing on your own company, I mean that takes you out. Because Sid is training like a fucking beast right now. I'll tell you that. Dane Miller, don't know who that is. Leander, he's been around for a long time. Lawrence, I think that's the Lawrence from West Side Arms. He's like a WWE sort of wrestler. Dino, we all know Dino, my brother. He's kind of rising up there, learning how to arm wrestle properly, especially with William Bishop, Smash Bishop. And then we have Ben Freeman here. All right, so let's look at the comments here. 205 stacked. Yeah, man. Robert, we are in for a hurting in that class. Why are we in this weight class? I don't know. We just, I don't know, because we're stupid, I think. Hopefully I'll get this chat overlay going soon. It is rough. All right, Dan Kramer. Can an elbow-pushing cheater get an invite to a weekday training session? Man, all you have to do is ask. I don't know who's available, who's not available. All I know is, hey, I want to practice with this guy, and this other guy says, hey, can I come? I say, sure, why not? Nobody's like banned or anything like that. Like I don't mess with that stuff. So anyone who is willing to come can come. If I need you to bring your table, you might need to bring a table. We have one dedicated table at the gym right now. We're actually in the process of getting another one. So we'll have another table, and that table is going to have a pulley system. Ed is banned. There she is. What's up, Wayne?
What's up, buddy? Give me one second. Sorry for the headache, man.
That's all right, man.
Hold on 1 second. What a fucking nightmare.
That's right. I'm kind of learning this myself.
Yeah. All right.
What are you up to? You working today?
I was. Yeah, long day, man. I'm just getting ready to work out after I'm done with you for the second time today.
Man, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about your training. I mean, you're in the gym right now talking to me.
I am.
That's that dedication.
I'm in my my homemade sauna. Hot as hell in my garage right now.
It was like 115 today.
Dude, it's getting hot, man.
All right, man, let's get cracking. I mean, a lot of people know about you, but do they really know you? I don't think so.
Probably not.
Probably not. The badass himself.
That's me.
So how long have you been arm wrestling for, Wayne?
In October, it'll be 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah, man. Time is flying.
So 7 years, taking back. So 7 years ago, how'd you get involved in arm wrestling? What made you want to do it?
Well, what's funny is I had known arm wrestling was a sport for a long time. Never tried it. I didn't care to try it. I worked with Tom Nelson in Sacramento, California, right at UPS.
Oh, nice.
And learned that arm wrestling even existed through him. So life happened years later. Here's Game of Arms on TV, right? I'm like, oh shit, there's Tom on TV, right?
Guys
I'm
on TV.
going fucking nuts, and my buddies from work and I always fucked around with it, and they knew I was better than the average, at least I thought. And
Mhm.
so somebody learned of a tournament at Europa at the time. They no longer have them, which is just a shame because they were awesome events, man. And I grew the guts to go, competed in the amateur class, saw Miguel in the finals, got my ass handed to me like there was nothing.
Well, he was like 3 years in at that point, right?
He was probably more than I would say. Yeah, maybe 3, 4, 5. I don't know, something like that. But he was on a different level than I was. I had never even touched a table before. I didn't know what chalk was used for. I didn't know how to stand right. I didn't know any of that stuff. So from there, Miguel kind of took me under his wing, man, and introduced me to the sport. I met Eric. I met, Todd Zilla was here at the time. John's still here. And the rest is history, bro. Miguel, is like family to me now. It's like my brother. So he's opened the door. I walk through it. The rest is history.
That's awesome. Yeah, Miguel has been kind of like our master Roshi,
No doubt.
especially to the new people.
No doubt. He's got a big heart, man. Anybody that wants to learn, pardon me, it's been a long week. I'm having a beer with you, brother. So,
All right.
Anybody that wants to learn arm wrestling, Miguel is all for it. He's got the biggest heart, man. He'll show you. He'll teach you how to beat him. That's how he is. He'll go to the table with you and show you whatever you need to know. That's just the character he is. He's better than me because I'm more of an introvert in that respect, unless you ask me questions.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's why it's been so hard to get you on here. I know you kind of keep to yourself, and I'm like, I got to get you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's I'm not so much an introvert. It's just finding the time is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I train twice a day. I work. My job is extremely demanding. I'm a father. I'm a husband. Life's just kind of always on the go for me. So finding time to do stuff is just, you got to make time, I guess.
For sure.
But, yeah.
It seems like to get a super match these days, you have to be, you got to be like a YouTube guy. You got to be an Instagram star. What is it? Like you were supposed to have a match, right?
Yeah, there's been talks, man. I've been hitting up Tim for a while, and I don't know. Tim's playing around. Tim, if you're watching this, stop bullshitting and get me a match, please. Promote something. I don't know, man. I've reached out to a few different promoters, and there's no traction on anything. I don't know if there's nothing going on. I don't know if it's maybe my name doesn't hold enough weight, or maybe it's because I lost in December.
Yeah, could be maybe the Washington thing.
Maybe it could be. Which we need to talk about that too, because there's
we need to talk
more
about a lot of things. So we have some questions. So the way I like to do this is, we do it live, and then we have our questions, and people ask questions and stuff, and it's awesome. So John wants to ask, how is Wayne percent-wise since Washington on the topic?
I guess it's hard to say because I haven't pulled hard, since the tournament. I've trained hard, and I think the first few months after that, I aggravated it, as I've told you before, and then it took more time to recover. Then I took like a month and a half off of just nothing and kind of forced myself to stay out of the damn garage. But I feel okay. I don't feel any restrictions. I don't feel like my elbow's unstable anymore. Again, that's gauging that on my training, not someone like Eric or Dustin or whoever pulling on my arm to see how I'm really at right now. But I feel like I'm okay. I feel normal. So I guess time will tell.
So for you, who would be a good gauge for you? Like I know, like when I think of, I've got these people I gauge myself with. If I want like a struggle, I'll do with these people. Who's your go-to? Is it Eric?
Are we talking about practice?
Talking about practice.
That's a good question. I don't know. I guess he's one of them. Eric's one of them. Miguel's one of them. Dustin, I don't remember the last time I pulled Dustin. It's been forever. Ron's another guy that's real explosive that is a tough son of a bitch on the table. And I don't pull with anybody else really but our team. So I don't, it's kind of hard to say these days, but yeah, Eric's definitely one of them.
So going back when you got involved with that tournament stuff, so What was your goal at the time?
To win. That's for
When did you have? I mean, I know you said you never saw a table at the time, but like, what was your? Was there some sort of concrete goal that you had? Like, I want to beat this guy. I want to do this or do
Oh,
that.
you mean initially when I first got involved? You mean?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I thought you meant December. Shit, man. I didn't have any planning or foresight in this sport. It just, I have a former career in baseball and all that stuff, and I guess I grew up doing a lot of that and a lot of martial arts, and I guess I was at a point in my life where, when you grow up an athlete and you grow up around, a certain brotherhood or
Hmm.
sisterhood for the ladies kind of thing, and there's a void somewhere, right? You want to be a part of something. So I don't. It just sort of happened. I didn't really have a goal in mind, and once I found it, it was just easy to fall in love with. I became obsessed with it. Right, I started buying shit and handles this and googling who can beat who, and then before you know it, man, a couple of years go by and you've got a few tournaments under your belt, and you kind of know who's where as far as the ranking system's concerned, and in your
Hmm.
state anyway. And then Miguel at the time was the dude, right? Aside from Eric, aside from Todd Dillon and John Brezink, if you were trying to get to that next level, Miguel Ortega was the man. I mean, he's put me down. He's put Dustin down. Nobody could fuck with Miguel back in the day. If you wanted to beat or get to Eric, Miguel was the guy to get there. He was the bridge. And then after years and years of training, so I guess to your question, my answer would be my first goal was to beat my own brother. You know what I mean, across the table. And then when that happened, I had another goal and another goal, and now I think I'm at a point where I just want to be fucking ranked. I want someone to give me a shot, and I feel like I belong on that list. It's getting there.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
I hope this is gonna be like a little platform for you, man.
I hope so, man. I hope so. Somebody give me the time of day. I promise I won't disappoint you.
All right. I mean, you're in your garage right now, so I mean,
I
let's
am
talk about your little training. You said you're doing twice a day.
twice a day. Yeah.
Can you break down kind of like what you do in the gym, sets, reps, exercises?
I go in spurts. Honestly, there's weeks where I'll focus on nothing but static. And
Hmm.
those weeks I'll focus on nothing but dynamic, depending on how I'm feeling, depending on what I'm training for, right? And for me, I think the training part of you'll get a million different answers on what you should or
Yeah.
shouldn't do because we're all different athletes, right? I can't train like Devin or Todd because I'm not fucking Devin or Todd. I've trained like Devin. I've tried to train like Devin. When I first started, it didn't go so well. I don't have the leverage. I don't have the genetic freakishness he has. I just don't have it. So I've had to find what works for me and my style of arm wrestling and address my weaknesses and make those my strengths. That,
Okay.
for me, that is the foundation of how an athlete should train with respect to arm wrestling. If you know who you are on the table and you're not trying to mimic anybody, yeah, are there things that are fundamental and things you should work on? Absolutely. But if you're mimicking someone's style 100%, to me that's almost a mistake because that's not you. What's your style? How are you on the table? Are you training center of the table? Are you training back, side, pronator? I mean, what are you? So finding yourself is key. But for me, I kind of bounce around a little bit. I focus a lot on my hand, a lot on back pressure, a lot of dynamic, static, and whatever I'm doing, I do it twice a day. Just that simple.
Is
you
it
know?
um is it like there's like a volume and then there's like like a low volume heavy, or how do you break that down?
Um, I don't really do a low or a high. I'm always consistent around like a 70 to 80% type of range. I don't go above that. I really don't dabble in one PR. I just don't. I don't do a max. Um, I don't train a shit ton of side pressure because to me, I think side pressure either comes with time or. And every time I've tried to train side pressure, I usually get fucking hurt, so I kind of stay away from it. But
Yeah.
it's um, it's kind of all over the place, man. It's nothing really consistent. I kind of dabble with new things because, for example, if I train my hand, right, cupping, let's just throw cupping out there, and I train cupping 2 weeks static. By the end of that second week, I'm probably going to fuck myself up because I'm overexerting myself, right? I need to change something in that training, right? For me, maybe not for other people, but my weird ass bones and this lump I got right here from pulling
Yeah,
Jake
well,
Smith.
what is that? I was going to ask you.
I tore up my TFCC and my ulna back in the day pulling Jake Smith, but so I've got very little cartilage in there. I've got arthritis. It's pretty bad. I can't pronate all the way. My hands like it's all fucked up. I don't know. But yeah, man. I mean, you kind of just have to find me at whatever I'm doing at the time. You know, it's kind of like a 2 or 3 week thing. Sometimes I'll bounce around between static, dynamic. Sometimes it's cupping. Sometimes it's back pressure. It kind of floats. You know.
Have you ever used you ever used a coach before?
Never. I talked to Reza the other day at the tournament, and we have a very similar outlook on how training should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as center of the table, the connectivity from your hand, wrist, elbow, lat, that the whole dynamic and domino effect, if you will. He gave me some good advice. I think I might have maybe gave him some good advice. I don't know, but we had some good conversations. But I've never went by a coach though.
Okay, yeah, I was going to use Reza as a coach on after Chris Back recommended him. I'm like, hell, it can't hurt.
Yeah,
he did recommend a lot of the statics too, just like you said.
Yeah. We talked about a lot of stuff. A lot of my stuff is on the table too. Like I've got one of those pulley systems on my table and whatnot. So I think whatever I try to do, it has to feel real, right? I see a lot of guys doing workouts with so many different handles, right? And I mean, does it feel real? Because my whole thing is, does it correlate? Does it translate to the table? And I don't think it always does. That's just my opinion. You can have 50,000 handles. Do they all translate? I don't think so. I think some do, some don't.
So on that, I mean, what do you think are the kind of the most overrated handles? You probably got some.
I do.
You probably have them all.
I got a shitload, man. And I only have that opinion because I have so many of them, right?
Because you've tried them.
I've tried them. I think God, my eyes are getting bad. What is it? The Art Arms, the little green handles, overrated.
The ones where you put your finger through and you kind of, it's like like a hand.
Yep, that's overrated. Country Crush is okay. I mean, depends on what you're gonna do with it. The Raptor is okay. The Top Roller, overrated. The Mazarenko handle, let me grab it. Let me get my old ass up. Hold on. This one here.
Now we're talking.
This one I believe in. This one's the shit. And this is no secret. Everybody probably has this, right?
Oh, is that the one for the fingers? The eccentric handle, I think it's called.
Yeah. This one's legit. That's a good handle.
And so, what do you specifically for that one? What do you do with it? Do you do statics, or do you go like this, or do you go like this? How do you use it?
You can do all the above. Static, micro movements. I'll do full range movements. I'll get in the table and do it so it feels real, right? But yeah, I'll experiment with all of them. Static mostly.
Okay, and that's when you kind of get into this position and just hold it. Okay.
Right.
And what sort of time are you working with? Like 30-second statics?
Yeah, it depends on how heavy I'm going. I mean, if I'm shooting 80, 90%, so yeah, 20, 25 seconds, something like that.
Okay. That's one of the things I keep getting recommended at tournaments. So I'll kind of pick the brains of whoever won, and I'm like, hey, what do you recommend? And they always see statics.
Yeah. Static to me is, don't get me wrong, dynamic reps are important too. But to me, arm wrestling is static. The entire thing is static, unless we're talking about hitting, right? The whole thing is fucking static motion. So
yeah,
it just feels real to me. It feels like when I arm wrestle somebody, I'm in a hold defensively or offensively. So it just feels more of a static. But I'm also very much concerned with my health too. Like I'm not trying to overtrain or undertrain. I'm always at a point where I listen to my body. And if I've overtrained something, I'll stay the fuck away from it. You know, it's hence why I'm always doing different shit. So
And so when you do these statics, like let's say you're going to do one direction, do you always work with just one direction, or do you ever get like maybe a back pressure and like a side pressure sort of thing? Like
at the same
how
time,
crazy do you get?
not I don't overdo it. I do different angles, or for some of you vectors, right? I say angles, but yeah, I don't do more than one angle at a time. I do focus on more than one angle
Okay.
at a time, but I don't go into three different angles. And some guys will have a handle and there's a damn band here and a band there and a band here. I'm like, dude, that's not, you know, don't overthink it. Just one at a time. You know,
I actually
you
I
know.
actually did that today.
How do you like it?
I don't know, man. I've never done it. Like the statics, I just don't. Everyone keeps recommending statics, so I'm like, fuck. I don't know. Do I do this and then do that? Is there something that I don't know? I just think this stuff comes with experience.
That's true. It does. And one thing that, and listen, I only have 7 years. Well, I will have 7 years, right? So I don't know everything. I'm still a student of the sport too. But my training has evolved 100 times in that time frame, right?
Hmm.
I've changed so many things about how I train, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to find what works for you. Like, okay, when you're at a tournament, your hands on that table. Where do you want to go?
Where do I
You
want to go?
specifically, yeah. Where's your angle? Where are you focusing on?
I'm only competing in the amateur class, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm primarily worried about if I try to see if I can contain the fingers and contain the guy. I'll try to see how strong they are, and if they're strong, if I sense that they're strong, I'll go from there. I'll take time in the setup, and then I'll slip or well whatever. But I'm going straight side. I'm hitting
Straight side.
basically back inside, kind of
Okay.
like what you do, right?
Yeah. Not so much. I mean, I hit in different angles, but I'm kind of all over. Like if Max goes inside, we go inside. If you want to go outside, we'll go outside. You want to press, I'll press with you. You know, I don't really have. At least I don't think I have a hole. But
So you don't have
so
like a specific like style.
not really. I don't like to say I do. I mean, I guess kind of to your point, it depends on who I'm pulling to. You know, but um, I 95%, unless I'm pulling someone I've never pulled before, and I know that they're just dominant in a certain area,
Hmm.
then I might change some of my, you know, perspective or approach. But for the most part, man, I've just gotten to a point where I'm just confident when I hit. I trust in my training, and I'm, you know, and if I'm not confident in my training, that probably shouldn't be on the table. You know, and
Yeah, you
if I
shouldn't be
get
competing.
caught, yeah, if I get caught and someone beats me, I have no shame in losing, because losing, in my opinion, so many fucking people are afraid to lose.
That
Um,
that they never get better, right?
yeah, there's an organic process, right? Like anything, you have to lose at some point to better
Hmm.
yourself. And for me, more than my wins have been my losses. I've learned more from my losses than my wins. So,
Who do you hate losing to besides Eric?
Eric, um,
I was looking at your matches, and every time you guys are like you guys are arguing back and forth about
oh
elbow
God.
fouls and this and that.
You know, that'd be a question for Eric too, because I guarantee you he hates losing to me. But yeah, fuck, I don't know. I've lost to Dallas what, twice now. Yeah, Dallas is probably another one. But you know, I'm way heavier than Dallas is these days. So, but I don't know. Eric, Eric. I think because there's so much history there, Eric's probably that guy that does it to me. Anybody else, I don't really give a shit. I mean, it is what it is, you know. But
So as far as the handles, just to kind of wrap up the handle stuff. So you said the eccentric handle. Is there any other handles that you think are maybe underrated or that everyone needs to get?
karate belt,
Karate belt. Okay.
karate belt. You can do anything with a karate belt. In, out, press, pronate, supinate, post. I mean, you name it, right? It's the cheapest and it's the most versatile. You know,
100%.
I think in the time I've spent in this garage, and let me tell you, I've spent some fucking time in this garage. I have probably used the karate belt more than anything else. So I mean, I don't know, man. There's a bunch. There's probably some handles I don't even know about. But to me, if you don't have a karate belt, get one. They last forever.
Juan says, my brother. We got Juan in the chat. What's up, Juan?
Dude, Juanito.
And how often? So you do 2 days for weight training. How about practice with actual arm wrestling?
In the first couple of years, it was every Saturday. Excuse me. Now it's like every other Saturday. Sometimes not even that. It just depends. If I could have it my way, it'd be every other Saturday.
Every other.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the longer you're in this sport, the less actual practice you have to do, and the more in gym time you have to do? Like some sort of like Todd Hutchings.
Yeah, Todd is such a phenom. I don't know, man, because I feel like, okay, for me, if I pull every single Saturday, I'm probably going to be less efficient in the gym because I'm so broken down from pulling so much, right? So I think I've kind of pulled some of that back, and it's a balance effort. But everybody's different. Like Juan, that guy can pull for fucking. He probably pull every day. He's got so much. He's got so much. Stamina. It's just insane. I can't do that. At least not anymore. So I don't know. I mean, the older I've gotten, and the more time goes by in the sport, I just don't heal the same. And I'm getting fucking old. But who knows?
How old are you?
34.
34. I'm almost 32, man. You're not old.
I'm still younger than Miguel, though. Love you, brother.
That is true.
Sorry,
that is
Miguel.
an old man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got a comment here from John. So June 18th, I'm facing our old friend Alex McManus, left hand.
Ooh.
Best of 5. What do you think about that match? How do you see that going?
Man, that's tough because I haven't seen Alex. I haven't seen him pull. I haven't seen anything of Alex since, however long it's been,
Yeah.
But when's the last time you pulled him?
Probably 5 months ago.
How do you feel then?
I felt fine. Yeah.
But you look solid these days, dude. So my confidence is with you. I'm going with you on that match.
All righty. Well, we'll go with that then.
I'll leave it at that. Sorry,
all
Alex.
Right. So yeah, are you planning on coming to that June 18th thing? By the way, it's going to be at John's house.
June 18th.
If you can.
Saturday. Yeah, I don't have any plans.
Nice.
I'll go.
And June 25th, are you going anywhere for King of the Table?
Yeah, you know what? I'll be in Disneyland June 25th with my kids. My family's going, brother, sister, so it's a whole family thing. I won't be in town.
Nice. All right. So we're done with training. What about recovery and supplements? Like, what supplements do you take?
Not a whole lot, man. Honestly, I take fish oil, creatine. I'm a big believer in turmeric.
Okay.
It's an anti-inflammatory, right? Been taking that for a while. I'll cycle off of that, like 3-4 months on, a month off, kind of thing. Pre-workout, recovery, shit, man. I have a bunch of shit for recovery. I ice, massage gun. I have a TENS unit. I have an ultrasound machine. I have all kind of shit that I dabble in to see if it makes a difference or not. And maybe it's the placebo effect. Maybe it's because I've used so much of it throughout my career being an athlete, even before this. I feel it works. So
I feel like the more expensive the product you get, the more you think it works.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, and then just time, finding a routine that works for you because there's some guys like I'm gonna name drop for a minute. My boy Mark. I love Mark. Mark is such a good dude, and he is gonna be a fucking problem one day. I'm telling you right now. But I think he trains too much. Way too much. I've told him that before. Big Mark. I think he trains too much. And I think he needs to spend more time focusing on allowing his body to heal, allowing his body to absorb, you know? So, because there is such a thing. I've been hurt doing the same thing. Miguel's been hurt doing the same thing. So I think recovery kind of is what you make it, but you have to find time to let your body rest. And there's nothing like time off.
So do you approach training like, let's say someone comes up to you like, hey Wayne, I'm going to pay you $200 an hour for you to train me and give me advice. Of course, you're going to say yes. And how would you train that person to be a champion? What would you say? Brand new.
Oh, fuck. That's $1 million question, brother. I don't even know how to answer that, honestly. I think, are we talking just training specifically?
We're talking about
everything.
Just training, table time, like how often, whatever, just some basic stuff.
Well, you got to be committed, number one, right? Because this sport can be very thankless, you know, and we spend so much time investing into our craft, into our channels, into a product, or into whatever it is. And sometimes the sport doesn't love you as much as you love it. So dedication is number one. Number two is you got to figure out who you are on the table, right? You have to have some type of identity on the table to build off of. You can't just start training 100 different things, hoping to get up there, and your mind is like, oh, well, what do I do now? You got to have some type of identity when you're on the table. So, yeah, start there. Are you an inside puller? You're an outside puller? You high hook, press? Are you a catch puller? Are you explosive off the go? Are you slow off the go? What's your mind doing? Are you exchanging information? The moment you're touching somebody's hand, you know, what's going through your mind? So it's so subjective, man. I don't have all the answers. Shit, I'm not the world's champ either. I'm still trying to figure that out myself. You know, I mean, for me, I'm not the strongest dude. I'm not the biggest dude. You know, I don't have, you know, I'm not the most genetically gifted guy, but you will not outwork me, ever. I will not be outworked. I will figure it out. I'll find a fucking way, and I'll get what's mine. That's me, you know. But everybody's different. Everybody has their own thing.
So that's like the number one thing you would attribute to you being good right now.
Yes. Yep. Is the resilience and the willingness to be good into what you want to be, you know, and find a way. I've had to lose so many times. I've had to get hurt. I've had to blow my wrist out. You know, I've dislocated my elbow. I've broken fingers and shit. You know, I had to go through all this pain and suffering to get to where I'm at now and figure out who I wanted to be on the table, and lose to Eric 100 times, lose to Miguel 100 times. So there's a process to this, and everyone's story is different. You know, my story may not work for you and vice versa, but I think to anybody who wants to succeed, you got to be dedicated, brother. You have to be. And if not, you probably won't last very long.
Nice. One other thing I want this video between you and I is I want it to be like a newbie's Bible of sorts, right? So I want a new person to go to this video for information, right? That's why I'm asking you all these training questions, supplements, because I feel like you're the guy. You know, you're the guy to go to right now.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And speaking of like Arizona arm wrestling, I mean, there's a lot of like new guys. We saw Sid. We thought Miguel was just going to go through him, but there's a lot of new guys right now that are actually pretty good. What do you think of this whole like ranking thing? And, you know, I'm pretty sure, I mean, this thing has probably been around as far as ideas before, right?
Yeah, the idea has been around for a while. I know Dustin tried it, and it kind of fell apart, and you know, for one reason or another. But it's tough, man. I mean, you get so many guys who are off and on. You know, there's been throughout the course of my career in this sport, there's been a handful of guys that are still around doing this. You know, so that it's constantly changing. You know, I mean, there's always a new guy. But right now, man, this new wave is just, there's a lot of them. There's so many guys.
Did we lose him? Yeah, I think we lost him, man. All right. We'll take a few minutes. All right, we got a comment. Kill a Capone. Bishop's going to be great to see grow too. Shout out to your brother and him. Awesome. Appreciate that. Let's see. Message the man. Internet issues. Yeah, he's going to reconnect. He's just deep in thought, man. Jake Ventura, what's up, man? Should have came the other day. Well, yesterday. I mean, I feel like I'm arm wrestling every single day. I went to the gym today. There's guys like, hey, this guy's like, hey, let's arm wrestle. I'm like, I can't say no to that. And Bishop is now in my gym. He joined the gym, so now he's gonna get huge. And Dino's gonna get that rematch. Everyone's getting too good. Am I training tonight? Oh, I just came back from the gym, actually. Yeah, so I train every day, usually around 7 o'clock. Here he is. There you are.
Sorry, dude. I guess my phone got too hot sitting in the garage.
All right, we're talking about Arizona arm wrestlers.
Yeah, so can you hear me okay on this thing?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So there's a lot of new guys in today's game, man, in Arizona. So I don't know how this ranking thing is going to work out, but I do think that it's a good incentive for people to want to stay in touch with this sport. You know what I'm saying? It gives people a reason to want to succeed, kind of thing. How we're going to do it, who's going to maintain it, no idea. You know, it's a constant. You know, it's a task. It's not easy doing that shit. And you have egos you're dealing with, right? You got people who are arguing, thinking they should be here, and there's opinions involved. And well, who has the latest win? Like Greg Brown's, for example, right? Here goes my ego and my opinion. Greg Brown has me beneath Dustin and Eric. Love Dustin, love Eric. How the fuck am I number 5? You know, when I just beat Eric, I mean, granted, I didn't go to this last one, but for good reason. And Eric didn't even place. What does he get? 7th, 6th? You know, so I'm not trying to be an asshole. Just saying. These are the things you run into when you're dealing with ranking systems. So it becomes kind of a nuisance. But I think for the new guys, it's an incentive.
Honestly, there's so many new guys right now where it just kind of organizes the sport for them, especially like in our little community that we have.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing if someone can perfect it and find a fair way to be with it. You know, but there's so many factors involved. You know, how much time before someone gets bumped down, kind of thing. You know, what do you do if somebody gets hurt? It's just so much shit. And so I don't know. I would not want to be the guy running it.
Yeah.
That's just me. But I think it's necessary. I think it's a good thing. So if you guys are trying to run point on that, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, John. Shout out to John, not Berzink. He's trying to organize the whole ranking thing. He has it by weight classes now. So I just think it gives people a sense of like community and kind of goals. Like, hey, I'm number 5, or I want to be this or whatever. Because the progress is just so slow. It just gives people something to shoot for.
It is. It takes a while to be successful in the sport. You know, very few can come in and just dominate. It just doesn't happen that way. So I think when people see their names on something, like, hey man, I have a goal to work towards, or hey, I placed 3rd in this class, or it's just overall, if we want to continue to build the sport, we have to. But it's just doing it is the problem.
Yeah.
You know?
So we talked about Sid. What about any other potential pullers that you think have a lot of potential in the sport?
Well, Sid, you know, on the subject of Sid definitely surprised me. I did not think he was as strong as he was. You know, he obviously is strong as shit. I mean, look at him bench press. He's just he's a monster. But he's definitely one of them. Joseph's another one. You know, strong little dude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. You're progressing really well. I don't know a whole lot of guys these days, to be honest with you. I mean,
There's too many of them.
When I think of new guys, I'm still thinking about Ron King and Julius. You know, I mean, these I don't know so many of these guys. It's just I don't know. I guess I haven't met very many people yet, so I don't know. But I do want to say something though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now I'm gonna get in trouble.
All right, that's the whole point of this show.
On the topic of Sid, okay, I had to do this because it's driving me crazy. Sid's strong as shit, right? Strong dude. His goddamn shoulder is like as big as my head. It's just insane. But, and I'm not saying anybody's doing this. I'm just saying if people are doing it, you have to consider two things. One, yes, is he strong? No doubt. He proved me wrong. But we can't give credit and discredit at the same time because Miguel was not healthy in that match, and he didn't have to give Sid that match either. Miguel's left shoulder's fucked up. And if anybody knows Miguel, it's me. I pulled Miguel probably more than anybody in the state. He is so in the match. He's on top of the table. His frame's in the way. And if you can apply side pressure and hold on that peg, I mean, I don't. It's very difficult to try to pin somebody. So, yes, at the same time, Sid is strong. We have to consider the fact that Miguel wasn't healthy either. Had he been healthy, just my opinion, I don't think it would have been as big a struggle. This is my opinion. So maybe needs to happen again.
I think so
when he's healthy. So
yeah, I agree with you. I think what the match did basically is it gave credibility to Sid as a serious puller.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of I think that was the best outcome for him.
Yeah. I think they both won that day. You know, obviously 100%. Miguel won, but Sid won too. You know, so he proved that he belongs in the conversation, no doubt. And again, it's no slant to Sid. I don't dislike him one bit. I think he's cool as shit. I think he's strong as shit. They're just things you have to consider. That's all.
Yeah, there's levels to this, right?
No doubt. No doubt.
Is there any wait? So before I forget, you mentioned something in the beginning. Hey, I want to talk about Washington. What do you want to talk about?
Oh God.
Before you get too deep in that beer.
I don't know if it was something I wanted to talk about. I think that I think it was more along the lines of if somebody's not giving me an opportunity to pull for, you know, a ranking super match, if you will, because I lost, there's a reason. There's reasons behind that. So for anybody that doesn't know, so round one, okay, I drew Ernest Strands. Ernest Strands is strong as shit. He's been pulling for a long time, longer than I have. And I think we slipped twice. Go to the strap. I pinned him convincingly. Somewhere in that, I knew something was wrong. I I couldn't pronate the same. If I moved my arm a certain way, it was starting to hurt more and more the more I pulled. And I knew something was wrong. Even Leonard came up to me at one point and was like, dude, your arm there's something wrong. You need to stop. So I go to my wife, she's a nurse in the ER. Sure as shit, my arm's dislocated. That like fucking no idea, right? So I pulled out of it, and Artem ended up winning that. But I didn't post anything. I didn't type anything on Facebook because it's not my character. It's not the cloth that I'm cut from. But if anybody thinks that I've forgotten about that and I won't be back, think again. because that was not me that day. And I don't make excuses for it. I lost, and congrats to everybody, right? Congrats to Artem and all those guys that won. No excuses. It is what it is. But I'll remember. I'm better than that for sure.
It's not an excuse. It's an explanation, right?
No doubt.
So,
But people don't see it like that, though. People always,
yeah.
You hear it, and everything before the butt is shit. So,
I feel like you gotta say something,
Yeah, I thought about it. I thought about putting something out there, but I don't know. I didn't. So,
Well, now you
I'm using
did.
your platform.
Now
Yeah,
you
there
did,
go.
man. So who would be your redemption match
That's tough, man. Anybody on that list?
on that top 20?
Anybody on that top 20 in my weight class? Which I think
Okay.
is what is it, 225 or 220? 220, right?
220.
Yeah. Anybody on that list?
When I was talking to Miguel about this, he said he would love to see a match with you versus Doug Allen. What do you think about that?
Love it. I would love it. Yeah, he texted me that. I guess he had talked to somebody recently. I don't know if it's one of the promoters for TAL or somebody. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but I think that was the case. And then his name got thrown out, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I don't even know if Doug knows about it, so we could be having this conversation for no reason. But if that's something brewing, when and where, sign me up.
Awesome. And you're planning on coming to Washington State Championship again, right?
This year, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a comment from Juanito saying we got to go back to Washington State again this year. Got to redeem myself too.
Yep, let's do it, man. We got to start planning it soon.
Well, it's something I wanted to ask you about Washington. So I wanted to compete in the pro division, but I don't know which weight class. So what's the difference between 232 and 205? Like, do you pull a different way? Is it strength versus speed?
No, I think because some of those guys at 220 are still just as fast as some of those guys at 205, but the horsepower is definitely night and day. So, as you probably already know, some of the guys that are coming down to 205 probably walking around at 215, 220, right? And the reverse is true for the guys at 220 coming down from 240 or 230. So, it's hard to say, man. What have you competed at so far?
I competed at 232 and 205 recently at Arizona State. And then I can hover between 220 to 235 as far as my weight.
Where did you feel comfortable?
I feel comfortable in all weight, really.
Yeah. I would say this to you. At the end of the day, my friend, that's going to be your decision. But here's something I can tell you. I've cut weight a few times. I lost, I don't know, 20, 30 pounds in like a month and a half or some shit when I cut for Wall years ago. And went to LA and had family come down. And guess who I draw first round? Eric. First round. Fucking smokes me, dude. Right? I came in at like 192 or something. I was skinny as hell. And I ended up getting my ass kicked the second match. So I went 0-2. But on the way back, I told myself I'm never going to fucking cut weight again, ever. At least not that much. So then I competed at 205, competed at 210. But I think you figure it out somewhere in there, right? Where do you want to be? And sometimes you're just going to have to lose to figure out where you want to walk around at. Where are you comfortable at? What's too much for you? There's times where I refuse to cut weight now, and there's times where I've pulled guys who are maybe 5 or 10 pounds more than me, and it's just like, damn, I don't know if I want to be, in the mix with Marcio Barbosa type of shit. So it's a gamble, kind of. But I would say,
I'm just thinking of in terms of, well, I initially thought of it this way. I was going to compete at 232 because, I'm probably going to win maybe one match if I'm lucky. So I don't want to be cutting all this weight, feeling like shit anyway, and then losing anyway. You know what I mean?
Sure. That's it. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. You try it. How long you been pulling now?
Year and a half.
Year and a half. Yeah, I mean, and that will be your first time competing pro for
First
Washington.
time.
What about in between that? Any plans?
In between, and I don't have any plans in between them. I just have some matches, like with Alex and Jesse. But do you know any tournaments that you would probably recommend?
Mm, there's one, I think, the end of this month. Um, I think Eric's supposed to pull Freddie Sanchez from Tucson. That's in Texas, I believe. Mm, I can't think of any top of my head, but I know that there's got to be some. There's always something popping up. So I would,
Probably do
I
like a
mean,
little tournament like that just to kind of see.
yeah, yeah. And, and even if you don't want to travel, because everyone's got obligations and a family. So even if you don't want to travel, I'm sure there's enough guys here to give you different looks and
Mhm.
different, styles or whatnot. We can probably set something up. But I would say to get as much experience as you can before Washington, just to be comfortable. You know,
Yeah. Are you competing in any other tournaments besides Washington?
not at the moment, nothing planned, but I
Okay.
will. I don't know where yet, but I will. My goal is at least one tournament, at least one super match before that, and that
Okay.
it probably should be more, but we'll see.
Yeah, I have. I'm not averse to traveling. It's just one of those things. Is I don't want to travel for a class of 3 or 4. You know, and then the worst case scenario for me is to get third place when I'm the third guy.
Yeah,
That's just so stupid. I would just throw that medal away.
I
It's a
get it. I get
participation
it.
medal.
I understand, but there is. I guess it all depends on your prerogative. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's got their own thing, and I mean, I've done that, dude. I've been to tournaments where it's like there's 4 people, you take fourth, and say, well, fuck, dude, great,
Yeah,
but I still got the experience. I still get to pull people I never pulled before. So it's whatever your prerogative is.
yeah. John says in the chat, what do you think about Jody Smith or Ryan Ballesteros
For what?
for a super match against you?
I'll smoke those motherfuckers, man. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you heard it here first. He's deep
No,
up in that beer. I like this
no,
Wayne.
no, I've only had one. Shit. No, Ryan, I actually lost to that day because it just didn't. It wasn't my day. And again, no excuses, but that was not Wayne at 100%.
Yeah,
Um, Jody, I didn't pull Jody because Jody got hurt too that day. But I mean, shit, man. At this point, I probably would pull anybody. I don't know. I prefer to pull somebody ranked, but we'll see. Time will tell.
and John wants to know if there was a match between Julius and Sid in August, who you got?
Righty or lefty?
Right.
Ooh, man.
Very similar.
Yeah, they are very similar. I've never pulled Sid, so that's a tough one for me. All I have to go off of is his last match, but um, Julius is a motherfucker inside. He's very strong in the hook. He's even giving me fits. But if Sid can find a way around Julius's hand because he is longer, that'll be
He's
a
got a
problem
big
for
hand
Julius.
too for a short guy.
He does. He really does. So I think it depends. Power wise, and shit, man, they're both. I mean, yeah, Sid's taller, but they're
Hmm.
both. I mean, they both have impressive physiques, right? So I think it'll come down to who utilizes that table and who's got the higher IQ. Julius ain't been around a whole lot lately. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. Sid's been arm wrestling a lot, as it seems. So that match can go either way for me. I have no idea. That'd be good. Is there
If
money
you
on it?
would I put money on it? I would not put money on that match. No. But if I would, I'd bet on Julius.
That's probably who I bet on too, just for experience sake.
Yeah, just for that.
Yeah.
If you had to give advice to Sid as an up and coming arm wrestling beast, what would you say?
Hmm. Um, I would say to get yourself out there more, man. Get more experience. Depending on what he wants to do with it, he may not want it. He may not want it. I don't know. But assuming he does, go out,
Mhm.
get experience, pull as many people as you can pull, and stay healthy. You do those two things, you'll be around for a while.
All right, on to our next topic here. We talked about some matches. I mean, what was your favorite match you were ever involved in?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Man. Probably Jake Smith. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but I pulled Jake Smith right after I won. It was the first year WAL had their amateur event,
Mhm.
and I won undefeated that year in Vegas, and then I won the big name. Jake was kind of on his way out, I guess. A little lighter than me. I think I came in at like maybe 10 pounds heavier or something. I don't know, something like that. But I was afraid at some point that match wasn't even going to end because we were talking shit so much. Like I thought we were going to fight. It was, he ate me up in the setup. He got in my head. He got me frustrated, took me out of my element. And I barely won, but I won. And that's where this came from, was that match.
Damn.
And it probably lasted, man, I don't know, 3 rounds, 4 rounds, lasted an hour and some change. There was so much shit talking back and forth. My wife was involved, talking shit. I mean, it was crazy. But that was probably the funnest match I've had. And after I won, we had beers together. He was cool as shit. And that was probably one of the most intense learning experiences I've had.
Nice. And then at what part during your 7-year journey did you decide to compete in pro? Like what made you kind of take that leap? Was it like a placing that you had or just a level you reached?
Yeah, I think I can remember a time where I was trying to figure it out. I didn't really know when to do it. And then I think it was 2016. WAL announced that they were going to have an amateur event, right, the day before the pros did in Vegas at the New Orleans hotel. And there were a lot of guys, dude. I think everybody won that title that year. Everybody did, because I think everyone thought that if you can win this, and it was stacked. I mean, there was some stacked dudes in these classes, right? If you can win this, that would solidify you as being a pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you get a contract offered or something like that. So when I won my class undefeated, I thought to myself, okay, if I ever compete in amateur again, I'm gonna get so much shit for this. Because if I won this, then I'm sure some would assume that maybe it's time for me to move on. And a friend of mine, I don't know if you guys know Herman Stevens, I've reached out to him several times in the past, and I remember asking him, like, look, dude, at what point do I do this shit? He's like, well, win this, and we'll see where it goes. So I won, saw him in Vegas, and he was like, dude, no more amateur. You're done. But I got good advice from him, though, after that. When I won the amateur event, he said, great job. Now prepare to lose for the next couple of years straight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, we'll see. He was fucking right. And I lost and lost and lost. It's kind of the organic process I talked about earlier, though, right? You have to lose to get better. It's the way it is.
Do you think it's a problem that for the amateur class, a lot of people with a lot of experience compete in that and kind of ruin it for the amateurs?
Sometimes I do. I mean,
I don't know if that's a recent problem or what.
No, I think that's been around for a while, man. First of all, I'm no one to say when you should or shouldn't. I mean, people do what they want to do, but like Greg Brown, love Greg. It's my boy. He's been pulling forever. Why are you pulling amateur? You know what I mean? You've been pulling forever. So I don't know. Everyone's got their own thing. I do think that there should come a time in your career where you say, you know what, amateur's in the rearview mirror. I got to move on. You can't compete in amateur forever. But
we got to talk to Tito too. He competed in amateur.
It's another one. And Tito's no joke. Tito's no joke. So I don't know. Everyone's got their own reason. Maybe it's a confidence thing, right? Maybe someone needs to feel confident by winning and get back in the groove of things mentally. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
So hopefully we can get this top 20 match for you. Just wrapping up, man. Future plans. Anything else you want to talk about? You got the platform right here.
Yeah. Nothing yet at the moment. I'm focused on that ranking match. But if something does come up, we'll have to do this again so we can blow it up, talk about it, maybe get the rest of the fellas on here with us, kind of thing. But
That'd be awesome.
yeah, that'd be fun, man. But I appreciate you having me, brother. Honestly, I love your content, man. I watch all your stuff, so keep doing what you're doing. I think it's great for Arizona arm wrestling, and I look forward to many more of them.
Alrighty. Hey, I appreciate your time. Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate you, brother.